Let's start with Chrystia Freeland.
Le leader de la majorité au Sénat, Chuck Schumer, et le leader de la minorité au Sénat, Mitch McConnell, et les autres sénateurs.
And other senators. These conversations are critical for the relations with Canada and the United States. It was an occasion for us to raise the Canadian priorities and the fight against COVID-19, the pursuit of vaccination, the fight against climate changes, the creation of new jobs, and the international commerce between Canada and the United States. I am looking forward to look our colleagues tomorrow to discuss how we can reinforce our collaboration in a period where the world is facing some world challenges.
Minister and Minister Ng, we had some very important meetings today. We met on the Hill with congressional leaders, with Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Minority House Leader Kevin McCarthy, and also other congressmen and women from both parties. We also met with the Senate leadership, with Chuck Schumer and Mitch McConnell and other Democratic and Republican senators. And I am also joined by Minister Joly, who has just joined us from Mexico and had some important meetings there leading up to this summit. And of course, Minister Mendicino, who has spent most of the day devoted to meetings with our colleagues back home in Canada, very much focusing on the really devastating flooding in BC and the work that the federal government is doing to support British Columbians. And maybe my colleagues want to make a few introductory remarks. Minister Joly.
Merci.
Thank you.
Merci, ma chère Chrystia.
Thank
Bonjour
you,
à tous, ça me fait
Chrystia.
plaisir de vous
Hello,
voir.
everyone. I'm happy to see you. I just arrived from Mexico. We landed earlier this afternoon. I had a chance to meet the Secretary Ebra to prepare the bilateral between the Prime Minister and the President. It will be the first time that I'll have to meet in person. And the subjects that have been talked about in this conversation, there are multiple. The fact to reinforce our partnership with the new free trade agreement, also to reinforce our provision chain, and also focus on question to fight against inequalities, especially the protection of women and girls in Mexico and Central America. And we've discussed a lot of reconciliation.
I had the chance to meet my counterpart in Mexico, Secretary Ebrar. We had the chance to prepare the bilateral meeting between President López Obrador and Prime Minister Trudeau. It will be the first time that the two leaders meet in person. And of course, we'll eventually meet with President Biden in the context of this trilateral summit. Many points were discussed. The first one, obviously, is the importance of our economic ties within CUSMA. The second one is definitely making sure that we have strong and resilient supply chains, including with Mexico. Fighting inequality, this is something that President López Obrador is extremely very strong about and has a strong stance. Obviously, we support him in that context, and making sure that we always promote gender equality and empower women and girls. And finally, we talked about the importance of reconciliation. So this would be my part on the Mexico part of the trip. Thank you.
Merci, Mel. Bonsoir, tout le monde.
Good evening, everyone.
Deputy Prime Minister Freeland said today, after having participated in a panel discussion at the Wilson Centre, I did spend important time with a number of colleagues as part of the IRG, which was chaired by Minister Blair, the Minister for Emergency Preparedness. We met to address the very grave situation in British Columbia. There are over 18,000 British Columbians who have been displaced as a result of the extreme weather over the last number of days. days, it's been a really tough time for British Columbians. As a result of a formal request for assistance, which was submitted by British Columbia in the last 24 hours, as well as the official declaration of a state of emergency, the federal government has sent in the Canadian Armed Forces, who are now actively assisting those who are out of house and home to try and get to safety. There are also efforts being made to try and restore travel, whether it's by rail or by road, and those efforts will continue. And obviously, our hearts go out to the people of British Columbia, and we'll do whatever we can to continue to support them. Beyond that, I'll turn it over to Minister Ng for a few comments. Thank you. Merci.
Good evening, everyone. I won't add very much more to what my colleagues have already said, other than today I had the opportunity to join Deputy Prime Minister and the Prime Minister meeting with congressional leaders both in Congress and in the Senate, and advocated for a range of issues important to Canada and important to trade between our two countries.